Something absolutely wild just happened to defense stocks, and it could change everything for you as an investor. Within hours of Trump posting on Truth Social, defense stocks plummeted by 7%. But just hours later, they shot back up. And buried in this chaos is what could be one of the biggest investment opportunities of the decade. We're talking about a massive influx of government money, $500 billion, maybe even $600 billion headed toward defense stocks. I'm going to tell you exactly which stocks are positioned to benefit because most retail investors have no idea this is even happening. Get it wrong, and you could be buying at the worst possible time. Get it right, though, and you might be set for a multi-year bull run in defense. Stick with me as we break down exactly what's going on. Now let's zoom out and understand the bigger picture. It all started when Trump posted on Truth Social what seemed like just another rant about defense contractors turned into a market-shaking moment. He specifically called out companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin for being least responsive to the needs of the military while lining their pockets. The stock market reacted instantly. Big drops, panic selling, billions wiped out in minutes. But then, in a move that caught everyone off guard, Trump signed an executive order banning defense contractors from paying dividends or buying back stocks until they meet the basic requirement of delivering superior products on time and on budget. And just like that, defense stocks took a nosedive. But here's the part nobody is saying out loud. Trump wasn't just complaining. He wasn't just throwing words around. He followed this up with something major. He proposed a massive $1.5 trillion military budget for 2027. That's $500 billion more than current spending. Now, while everyone was panicking about the executive order, that news about the budget triggered something big. Suddenly, defense stocks didn't just recover, they shot back up. So why is this happening? What does it mean for you as an investor? And more importantly, how can you take advantage of it? Let me tell you what this really means. The key to all of this lies in a simple fact. Trump's move could unlock hundreds of billions of dollars in defense spending. We're talking about a $500 billion or even $600 billion flood into defense stocks over the next few years. But the truth is, most retail investors have no clue this is coming. They're caught up in the noise, reacting to every headline without seeing the bigger picture. Here's the first proof. Take a look at Lockheed Martin, one of the biggest defense contractors in the world. The market freaked out when Trump made his move, but the smart money didn't. It was a quiet, highly unusual trade, a massive options bet over $400,000 that Lockheed would rise. And guess what? That trade has already gained nearly $200,000. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, smart money is always a step ahead. They saw what was coming and they placed their bets. If you understand this, you could get in on this trend before it's too late. But notice what's missing from all of this. The headlines are obsessed with the drama, but they're missing the clear signal. Defense spending is about to skyrocket, and those who position themselves right could see massive gains. Now let's talk about how this situation escalates. It's not just a one-off event, it's a signal of something much bigger. This is a classic case of what we call Trump whiplash. He shoots down defense stocks with one post, then pumps them back up with the next. But this isn't just about short-term volatility. It's a glimpse into a massive shift in defense spending. And when you realize how much money is on the line, you start to see the pattern. Let's take a step back. This is reminiscent of a similar situation from years ago when defense contractors faced a different kind of pressure. Back then, the focus was on maximizing profits at all costs. Now, Trump's executive order is forcing these companies to put military needs over shareholder payouts, which could lead to massive changes in the way defense contractors operate. But here's where it gets interesting. The more the government invests, the more it needs to ensure those investments actually pay off. That's why the Golden Dome project, the massive missile defense system, could be the key to everything. This kind of move wasn't just a tweak to the system, it's a serious shakeup. And if this keeps building momentum, we could see the next wave of defense contractors taking over with new technology and systems that change the game entirely. Now, here's where things get even more critical. We're not talking about just one stock or one company. This is a cascading effect that could impact the entire defense sector. In the last few hours, we've seen a series of rapid developments that show just how out of control this situation is becoming. First, Trump's executive order triggers massive sell-offs. Then a huge market rebound follows. And now we're watching key companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon make moves that are hard to ignore. But this is just the beginning. Lockheed Martin's stock didn't just recover, it surged. And why? Because the smart money is already positioning itself. They see what's coming: massive defense budgets, massive contracts, and a serious increase in military spending. But here's where it gets interesting. Right now, the market is completely volatile. It's a rush to get into the right positions before the real flood of cash hits. Now, I'm going to hit you with a crucial question. What happens if this keeps accelerating? What happens if the defense budget actually goes up by $500 billion? If Trump gets his way and military spending takes off, we could be looking at years of growth for defense contractors. And this isn't just about military contracts. It's about positioning yourself for a historic bull run in a sector that could see explosive gains. The question is, are you ready for it? Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at how all of this impacts you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who stands to either gain or lose from this massive shift. This isn't just about Wall Street or defense contractors. It's about real people, real money, and the tangible effects on your portfolio. Imagine you're a regular investor, just like I was. You're seeing defense stocks surge, but you're also seeing the risks, the political instability, the potential budget cuts, and the possibility of these grand plans falling apart. So where does that leave you? The simple truth is that you have to play this carefully. Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. No matter how promising a single stock looks, the risks are real. And you have to make sure you're not betting the farm on one company or one project. But think about it. If military spending is going up, defense stocks are set to benefit. If you don't get in now, you could miss out on the next decade of growth. This isn't about gambling. It's about smart investing. And that means understanding the risks, setting your exit points, and being ready for whatever comes next. If this feels familiar, or if you're feeling that same pressure to make the right move, drop a comment below. Let's talk about how you're approaching this, and if you're as ready for this opportunity as I think you are. Now let's move beyond the headlines and look at the system that's driving all of this, because understanding the mechanism behind these moves is just as important as understanding the numbers. What's really at play here? It's leverage, power, and fear. Three forces that are shaping the future of defense spending. The truth is, the system is set up to feed this kind of spending. The incentives are huge. If defense contractors deliver on time and on budget, they get billions in contracts, and the government gets its technology. But there's one thing that's often left out of these stories: the spectacle. Every time there's an increase in military funding, there's a public show. Headlines about national security threats, political pressure, and the need for advanced defense systems. All of these factors push more money into the defense sector. And in that system, the big players win. They're the ones with the infrastructure, the political connections, and the contracts already in place. Here's the unsettling part. The money isn't just flowing into military contractors because they're delivering the best technology. It's also because of the sheer scale of the budgets. The government is incentivized to keep pouring money into the system, even if the outcomes aren't always as efficient as they should be. This creates a cycle. More spending leads to more contracts, which leads to more spending. And it's a loop that's tough to break. Looking ahead, there are two paths this could take. On one hand, we could see this explosion in defense spending continue. If Trump's $1.5 trillion budget for 2027 passes, we're talking about an unprecedented wave of money flowing into defense contractors, an opportunity that could shape the next decade of military technology and infrastructure. Think about it. The Golden Dome missile defense project alone could pull in hundreds of billions, and the contracts are already piling up. But here's the other side of the coin: political risk. The budget needs congressional approval, and that's no guarantee. Even within Trump's own party, there's opposition to such a massive defense budget. If the budget falls short or gets cut, the impact on defense contractors could be severe. We've seen this before: massive government programs that get slashed or delayed, leaving investors scrambling. The uncertainty is real. The next few years will be crucial in determining whether this defense boom continues or fizzles out. One thing's for sure: the momentum is building, and the next move is already being set in motion. So how will you play it? Will you take a chance on the future of defense spending, or will you sit back and wait to see how it all unfolds? So, what's the bottom line here? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The potential $500 billion to $600 billion flood of money into defense stocks could reshape the entire industry. But as always, there's risk. The political landscape, the uncertainty over budget approvals, and the technical challenges of projects like the Golden Dome could derail everything. But if you believe, like many of the smart money investors, that military spending is only going up in the next 5 years, then defense stocks are a play you can't afford to ignore. The big picture is clear. Geopolitical tensions are rising, and the U.S. is committed to military modernization. Whether or not Trump's defense plans fully come to fruition, the momentum is already set in motion, and the companies leading the charge will benefit the most. Companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and others are already positioned to make billions in the coming years. But remember, this is a multi-year thesis, not a quick win. Diversify your positions, understand the risks, and set your exit points. This is about playing the long game. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, get the right information, and understand the market as it unfolds. Make sure you're subscribed for the latest updates. You don't want to miss out on the next big shift.